Morning, everybody. Where's my... Yeah, right, disappeared again. My silly camera doesn't work. Morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Where's the chat? One sec. Chat window vanished. How are you all doing? Morning. Wait. Morning. Shit. Well, that's a new name. Shivank. Morning, Shivank. Morning, Wishcheck. Morning, Peter, Evil, Ryan, Paul. How are we all doing? Happy Monday. Another day, another dollar. Back in the game. So today, basically, we've got well, actually, let's say today we've got a US and Canadian bank holiday. So it's President's Day, basically. So as it says here, low liquidity and irregular volatility. So be ready for a bit of slippage today. It's always a tricky day. Sometimes you do get quite a bit of movement on slippage, but sometimes it is just dead. Most of the time, to be honest, it is just dead. So I wouldn't expect an awful lot to happen today. However, Trump isn't on holiday and he could well say anything. So the market, if Trump says something controversial and there's no liquidity, you're going to get slipped a lot. So just be aware today could be a fun one. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I've already had some slippage overnight. As you can see here, I've just got the Aussie New Zealand up. This closed overnight. I banked 0.5% overnight. These three trades here, the Aussie New Zealand, closed in a loss. Yeah, the whole lot closed in a loss. 17 loss there, 6 loss there, and a $24 profit. However, if you look at the actual trade, this is where price was, and that is where my broker decided to fill me. So the trade was very profitable. It got to my target. My target was well within profit, but the broker decided not to close my trades in profit. It decided to close them in a loss spread. So obviously the Aussie and New Zealand are incredibly susceptible to high spreads at the swap, especially the weekly swaps, and obviously with low volume and liquidity as well. Just criminal. Brokers, love them. Anyway, can't do anything about them. That's what they are. They're crooks. So yeah, nothing much you can do about that. So be prepared for that today. So we'll whiz through the news to start off with. Then we'll go through the charts as usual, see if there's any setups, have a look at the accounts, do the zones, usual stuff, go through everything, and yeah, make some money. We'll have a look at the indices in a minute. There's no pre-market breaks today. Range is too small at the open for pre-market for the SIH anyway. If you're taking ORB, you're long on both. So if you're taking ORB and you've taken a pre-market on the ORB today, if you took the 15 pre-market, you actually killed it already. So 150. You've already done 500. So you've had a 3R clean break off the pre-market on the DAX. The FTSE you wouldn't have. The FTSE is 83. You got 112. So you're 1R on the FTSE if you took the pre-markets, but they were too small for the SIH to take today, but we'll see. Right, so news-wise, over the weekend, not a lot. Morning, Sarah. Morning, Soul Trader. Not an awful lot happened over the weekend. We've obviously had a lot of talk about Trump over the weekend. And Ukraine and bypassing Ukraine and just talking to Russia and sorting it out without thinking about Ukraine, and forget Europe. You're not involved in this. It's nothing to do with you, although it's in Europe. So Trump upsetting basically the entire world by being an idiot, as usual. So yeah, that was basically this weekend's main news. Nothing particularly economic there at all. So, you know, it's nothing that should really impact the financial markets today or coming up this week. So yeah, basically that was the weekend news. There really wasn't any over the weekend. There was nothing out of Japan overnight that was important at all. Talk about steel tariffs and things, but you know, that's basically it. So that's your weekend news. There's nothing really to report. Morning, Monkey. Today's a no news day. It's a bank holiday. People prepare for slippage. US markets obviously shut this afternoon, so don't try and trade the US markets. They may well be open, the futures markets, for electronic trading, but there's not going to be any volume or volatility, so you just get chopped to pieces. So just don't bother this afternoon. Moving into this week, we've got quite a lot of news, as you can see. It's PMI week. So we've got a lot of stuff happening. It's the Australasian interest rate week as well. So we've got the Aussie announcement coming tomorrow. They're going to be dropping their interest rates by 0.25% potentially. Morning, Lucas. Morning, Chris. So that obviously will affect the Australian dollar tomorrow morning, overnight. So by the time I come on for the members stream tomorrow morning, we'll be looking at the impact of that. We've got the claimant count change for the UK, so potential volatility for the UK there. We've got Bailey speaking tomorrow morning as well, additional volatility. Canadian CPI, obviously CPI is the second most important news event behind interest rates. We're forecasting, it's a bit of a tricky one, this one. The monthly is forecast to drop, which it probably will. The median yearly is forecast to stay the same. The trims yearly is forecast to go up. So God knows what's going to happen with the CAD on tomorrow afternoon, but there's going to be a lot of movement there. We've got Trump speaking tomorrow. I mean, Trump obviously is every day. I don't know why they bother putting that in. It's just, he will. Obviously, we know he's going to speak, so you can get ready for him speaking at that point, I guess. We've got the wage price index for the Aussie, obviously, again, more volatility on the Australian dollar. Then we've got the New Zealand dollar interest rate. Again, the New Zealanders are going to be dropping by 0.5%. This is a very fast move. A little bit faster than I was anticipating. I was expecting a quarter, but we're going to get a half, apparently. So we'll see. Obviously, there's massive deviation possibilities here. So there's a lot of volatility tomorrow morning and Wednesday morning, potentially on the Australasian pair. So be aware of that. We've got the CPI for the UK expected to go up, bullish for the pound on Wednesday morning. And then we've got FOMC on Wednesday evening. So from basically 3:30 tomorrow morning until 7 p.m., it's absolute carnage, basically. There's so much news to do with interest rates, inflation, blah, blah, blah. It's just loads of it. And obviously, you've got Trump thrown in the middle. Then we move into Thursday, and we've got the unemployment rate for the Aussies at 4.1. So the Aussies, literally every single day this week, we've got a major Australian news event being released in the mornings, overnight. Unemployment claims for the US come out on Thursdays. They always do, same time every week. We got Bullock speaking in the evening, giving a summary of everything that's happened this week, I should imagine. And then Friday, we go into PMIs. So every single major currency is having its PMI numbers released, which is the Purchasing Managers Index, which feeds into the Consumer Price Index, which feeds into the interest rates. So the third most important news event that we have, basically. So there's just loads and loads and loads of news this week. So be prepared for some massive volatility. Roll Trump into that and the potential for the Ukraine war ending. We could have all sorts of stuff happening this week. So it could be an interesting one, but we'll see what happens. So there's your news for the week. So just be prepared. Basically, every single day, you've got something which is going to massively impact your portfolio. So huge moves all over the place this week. It's going to be a good one. So banked 0.5% today. Let's have a look at the Zone Trader account. So Aussie CAD, Aussie New Zealand out of with a loss, which should have been a profit. Aussie CAD out of that one as well. That was nice. So nice quick move up straight into a sell. And the other one was the New Zealand dollar Swiss, which made a nice profit as well. There. So out of that long, which we took from these lows. Remember I said ignore that Trump. This is where we were previously buying. Yeah, that's where we rebought after the Trump V-shaped recovery, and that's where we rebought again. So now up here is where I would be selling. I'm not selling because the swaps are too high, but if you did want to get in a short, that's where I would be shorting it. So there we go. So that's what I've closed out this morning. It's just unfortunate that Aussie New Zealand. That Aussie New Zealand should have been somewhere in the region of 1/3% to 0.5%. It just slipped. Just got slipped on it, unfortunately. I already have in the EA. I have the timing set up. This is the whole purpose. This the whole reason this trading time section is in the EA is to filter out large spreads and overnight swaps, basically. So from 11 o'clock at night UK time, you start to get a lot of lower volatility in the market. US shuts, so you tend to get wider spreads. The midnight obviously is the swap, where you get the huge broker candles and huge spreads going in. So I basically say to start trading at 1 a.m. That gives you a 2-hour window for the brokers to muck about, do what they want to, and then hopefully normal trading resumes, because you're an hour into the New Zealand session basically. But even so, especially with the Aussie and the New Zealand pairs, you still have these huge spreads and swaps, unfortunately. But yeah, it doesn't happen that often with that filter in place, but nothing you can do about it. So just a quick update for those that are using the new portfolio dash. The new version, basically, if I just open a new chart with a chart on it, whatever. The new version of the dash, I pushed out the update for it this morning. So the new features in it are, if I just drag it onto the chart, the main new feature, the only new feature is this one here, which is auto set dashboard color. Background color and the color you want to set. So if you set this to true when you add the so let's leave it as false at the moment. So basically when you add the dashboard, the problem is obviously you've got the chart in the background, the grid, or whatever your default settings are for a chart. That is what's basically loaded. So obviously it becomes difficult to see anything. So what I've done is I've introduced this as just a quality of life feature. If you set that to true when you launch the dash, you can select the background color you want depending on however you want it set up, and when you launch the dash, basically it just gets rid of the entire background. So it's just a quality of life feature, rather than having to set up a template, save a template, apply that template, then put the EA on, blah blah blah. It's just one click done. So and obviously the new feature is the recent closed orders, which has now been added. So you've got a new section here for recently closed order settings. And just move that over a bit. I'll put it over 1500. You can select basically however many orders you want to see. So if I set that to something like, I don't know, 30 orders, and you can obviously adjust the positioning like all the other columns. Basically, it will just give you all your recent closed orders. So just at a glance, you can see everything. The reason I wanted this specifically for me is when I'm doing drawdown control, I want to be able to see what has closed out. Just realized that goes from... Why is those dates not in the right order? $17th, Euro New Zealand. That's weird. Why is that giving me a different order? I'll have to look at that. But anyway, it's basically so that you can see your most recent orders that you've closed out. So that's a really weird thing. So that's in a different order. This is the same account as this. Yet the order here is fine. The order here is not. But it's the same broker, the same account. Just a different terminal. And yet I'm getting a different sort order. How does that work? Anyway, I'll look at that. It looks like a bug. Can't quite work out how that bug is there, because I've just told it to sort it by date closed order descending. There is no other thing. Anyway, so I can instantly see the whole purpose of this. If you're closing out orders, so if I wanted to close this order out, basically, when you hit the button, so if you close out 50%, 25%, or the whole thing, that's gone. So you're immediately like, what did I just close? And how much did I close it for? And it basically shows you here. So today, for example, I can see the last two orders I've closed out have been $66 and $64. I can see how much the lot size is and what they were. So I can instantly see where I've been closing out my positions. So I can see I've done $120. I can see up here I've done $130 today, but the last two trades were $120. So you can whiz through and look at your open orders and say, all right, well, I've got $150 worth of drawdown there. I might want to close a quarter of that out using this. So it's just a nice visual tool to help with drawdown control, basically. So it's something I wanted in there. So I've added it. If you don't want it, the same as all the others, you can just basically come in here and you can turn it off. So if you don't want to see the recent orders, you just turn that to false and it's gone. Don't have to worry about it. Although I do want to see it, so I'm going to turn it on. There we go. So that's what I pushed out this morning, just as a little update. Right. Dash. Morning, David. David, you're here in the morning. What's going on? Sent you a $10 super chat, but not sure why it's not showing. It's not showing, David. You're right. Shows for me the last one that you sent was 12 days ago. I don't know why that's not showing. Thank you very much for the $10. That's invisible, David. I don't know why. I don't know. Everything else is working. So maybe there's a bug in YouTube this morning or something. I don't know. But thank you very much. Much appreciated. If you're really telling the truth. I'm sure you are. I don't know. That's weird. That's normally shows straight away, doesn't it? I don't know. We'll look at that one. Thank you very much. Morning, Virginia. Winnie, my portfolio data is overlapping. How do I sort this out, please? You just adjust the spacing. So if your portfolio data is overlapping, open up your inputs and change where they are. So each section, you've got, there's 4 sections, 5 sections now. You've got your daily history, weekly history, exposure, and recent orders, and obviously the main open order section. And each of them has a left and top offset. So for the daily account history here, yeah, I can change the positioning of every single one of these blocks on the chart by just adjusting it. So this is the top spacing, this is the left spacing. So if I make that 200, it will shoot 200 to the right, like that. But obviously now it overlaps. Yeah, so you just adjust them as you see fit. I haven't done a video on this yet. I didn't really see much point because it's so, to me anyway, obviously, it's so clear what everything does because I built it. But I think everybody knows what X and Y positioning is on a chart. So I changed X and Y to top and left to make it more clear. So if you want to move that and that, you just move it, you just position it where you want to position it. Yeah. I will do at some point a video on it. And again, I haven't written a manual for it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, most of it, you know, but it's, you know, I have to cross all the T's and dot the I's sort of thing. So I will do it, but I just haven't had a chance yet this week, last week rather, to do it. So I will get a video done, so that it's clear. But hopefully that's clear now. So yeah, so just move it to where you want it to be. The reason I've made it X and Y's is because originally I had it so this appeared at the top by default, and all of these appeared underneath this very last total row, yeah, down here. The problem is when this gets longer, you can't see these because they'll be off the bottom of the chart, and there's no scroll obviously on a chart, so you can't like scroll up and down. So I decided to allow you to move them wherever you want to. It's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more setty-uppy, but it gives you full control. Everybody's got complete control of what they want. Football edits. Did you do software engineering? No. I'm a programmer, but I didn't do software engineering. No. Morning, Lee. Morning, Lee. Morning, Vitali. Even I'm Lee. How you doing? Right. So let's have a look at the charts. So basically, this morning, ADRs, we haven't got any. I was expecting to see some Aussies because of this stupid spreads we've had. But yeah, nothing's really hit ADR as yet. So nothing to look at here. Obviously, weeklies, there's nothing to look at. To be honest, at the moment, anything you see on the monthly, I think you kind of have to take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt at the moment, because everything's being moved by Trump. So, you know, we've got a monthly hit on the US dollar Swiss. It's done 200%, sorry, US dollar CAD. It's done 200% of its monthly range. It hasn't done 200% of its monthly range. Trump sent the market into a spasm by changing his mind on something. What it's really done is that, which is nothing. So you got to eyeball this stuff. Everything's got to be eyeballed at the moment to look at your chart and go, that's not real, is it? That's not normal. Anything you see on your chart that isn't normal is caused by Trump. So there's no ADRs, no weeklies today. RSI extensions, there's nothing on the hourlies again. It's so quiet at the moment. We'll have a look at the RSI account in a minute, but there's 2 trades running on it, and 1 trade closed out last week. It's absolutely dead at the moment, RSI, because the market is just going into spasms and then just sitting there going, holy crap, all the time. All we're getting is this sort of price action on most pairs, or real grindy price action, which obviously there is no relative strength. That is not a relative strength move. That is a relative strength move. That's what we're looking for the profit takes on. This is just grindy, trendy price action, not even trendy in most cases. So the RSI dash obviously isn't lighting up like a Christmas tree too much at the moment because the market conditions are just not right for it at the minute. So nothing there. We'll have a look at the trades that I've got on in a second. Aussie dollar, US dollar, we have got a 4-hour RSI extension on there. So that got extended. So this is quite a nice extension above the 70 level and holding. We've got, obviously this week, you've got news, nothing but news constantly, especially for the Australian New Zealand pairs. So it's going to be a big old week for the Aussies. So anything you get into today, obviously bear in mind for the next 3 days, you could be sitting 300 ADR up there or 300 ADR down there tomorrow or Tuesday, or Wednesday on the New Zealand. So just be aware that there's potential for a massive amount of money to be made on the Aussies very quickly, or obviously going to drawdown. So that's extended. So you've got an option to go short on that. There's a 3-bar reversal going in right now. Yeah. So push, pause, pull. Sellers taking control of the market, so pull back down into this area here would be the easy exit, 50% retracement. You also have Euro US dollar. That is also extended on the 4-hour. It's just rolling over. You've missed it really. So just got into Christmas tree mode there and then basically rallying back down again. So there's a short opportunity there. Also nicely out of the highs from the previous month as well. But, you know, everything's distorted at the moment. So it's a nice extension, very big, strong push. So you're looking for a pullback on this leg. Last week's price action, basically some kind of pullback on it. But the euro is particularly weak at the moment. The US dollar's just been incredibly weakened by Trump, obviously. So he can flip that very easily, make them strong again very quickly by just opening his mouth. So, you know, this sort of price action, the market is long. They will be taking profit on that move. So it will be pulling back at some point. You've got New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So again, same thing with the US dollar. We've just tapped out of the monthly highs on that one. So this is potentially a false breakout underway at the moment. You can't really tell because of that V-shaped recovery what's going on. So you've got the previous month's low there, last month's low there, last month's high there. So obviously this is the range that we're forming. There's no reason really why it should go anywhere else until those New Zealand figures come out on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday morning. Then there's potential for movement. We've got the US dollar CAD. That's a really good opportunity for a long at the minute. I think that could really jump at any time. CAD Canada under pressure at the moment, a lot, with those import tariffs, basically. So oil and wood, all imported into the US, and if the tariffs of 25% goes on there, the Canadian dollar is going to struggle. So there's a, that looks like a nice long at the moment, I think. I've got that running on another account. I've also got it on the Zone Trader account long as well here. So like that as a long. And US dollar yen extended to the 4 hour to the downside. Again, I'm still not touching the yens at the moment, but price action on these looks actually quite back to normality now. So it's still pretty squeezy. And I would much rather be taking longs than shorts, obviously because of the swap costs. I can't short it, it's too expensive, and they pay you to long it. So right now where we are, if you look at what we're doing, this is a 4 hour RSI extension and a retest of the previous reversal here. So there's your last reversal alert that went in, and this is now the retest of that. So as long as we don't invalidate last week's low or the previous week's low, and we've got a nice bullish engulfing attempting to go in here with an RSI extension, that could well be the start of the W pattern reversal. So we'd be looking to challenge the previous weeks and the week before that's highs, and watching this area here for potential resistance to form a range. But we'll see. So yeah, even if you get in now and just try it with a stop under that low, or worst case scenario, stop under there, if you're going to use a stop loss based strategy, just target last week's high. You've got plenty of reward there if it doesn't manage to break. So yeah, it looks like a good looking long opportunity there as well. I'm tempted to get back into the yens. I'm thinking of maybe adding one yen pair in to the portfolio just to try and get longs on it, but I'm still undecided. Hard to tell right away which direction you are exposed on a currency. It's just you, Vitaly. It's very clear which way you're exposed on a currency exposure. Yeah. US dollar, I'm long. New Zealand, I'm short. Pound, I'm long. Euro, I'm short. Swiss, I'm short. CAD, I'm short. Aussie, I'm short. I'm really short on the US. I'm quite short on the Swiss and the Euro. I'm not that short on the Aussie and the CAD. Doesn't get any clearer than that. It's compared to the old dashboard, that's like looking through clear glass. The old dashboard is like looking through dirty glass that hasn't been cleaned for 500 years. If you watch Silo TV show, this is after they've cleaned the glass before they go off, and obviously I won't ruin it, but you know what happens when they go off. But yeah, this is the Silo glass cleaned, very, very clear. Right, there we go. So let's have a quick look at the indices. So I have a break on the FTSE long, nothing on the DAX at the moment. DAX range is quite large. It's within 20% of ADR, so it's taking a long or short. I'm not holding up too much hope today because obviously we've got a very quiet session today because of the US being closed. I'm not sure we're going to get too much purchasing on any of the indices today. So we'll see, but we might do. So long FTSE, nothing on the DAX. So just going to go with the price action today. Today's one of those ones where I will watch this. And although obviously targets will be set at 3R, as you can see, to get to 3R with no volume is actually going to be quite a struggle. So I would be watching previous day low. So that's Friday's low and Friday's high, basically, which is there. So I'll be watching, actually, not far away from Friday's high, so I can't take a long break exit there. It's too close. But maybe last week's high, just under 1R. Just don't want to really go for the home runs today because I don't think the volume is going to be there. So we'll see what happens, though. Let's see where the breaks go. Right. Let's go over the Zone Trader account and the VPS. So RSIs. Morning, JC. Morning, Noob. Make US dollar great again. Yes, that'd be nice. So basically, H1 RSI mean reversion closed out 0.23 on Friday, 0.5 the day before that. I've got two trades on the pound US dollar and the US dollar Swiss, so it's all US dollar exposure. But apart from that, there's not been any RSI extensions that have been extended long enough or hard enough to actually get into any trades. So the only two that are on at the moment are that US dollar Swiss, which I've got up on the chart now. Two entries on that one. First one taken there, second one gone on here. So that's very, very close to break even at the moment. Just looking for some kind of price action. Nice bearish market structure on it. So exit here would be the obvious choice. And pound US dollar is the other one that I've got on that. Again, short went in on Friday. First entry, short. So yeah, just waiting to see if we get some movement on that one as well. But very, very, very quiet on this account at the moment, which is, you know, I've been going on for the last sort of 6 months or so about diversification and how important it is to get more diversification in your portfolio, because at the moment the markets are all over the place. They have been for a year or good couple of years. Basically, it's just been different. Trading conditions are different to what they were pre-COVID. And since the interest rate freeze happened, the markets have changed their personality again, and this happens all the time. So the diversification element of having the zone trader account alongside this one means that if there's nothing happening here, you still make money because you're trading in a different style with the same monetary risk sort of structure based around it. So both position trading accounts, one indicator based, one support resistance based. When the indicators aren't moving because the market's not moving enough, you just trade the zones. When the market starts to scream, you're going to go into drawdown on the zone trader account. This one's going to get into some nice mean reversion entries. So it's just swings and roundabouts at the minute with these markets. And of course, at the moment, because of Trump, anything can happen. So this is obviously the inverse to the US dollar Swiss. So again, exit somewhere down there would be perfect. Previous highs we broke and retested. So that would be my exit. But we'll see what happens today, see if we get anywhere. The trend pullback strategy has made a bit of a loss this morning. So couple of nice days last week. It's still up 11% overall, but again, I'm still not sure about this strategy 100% now. I spent a long time developing this, and it works incredibly well in backtesting, but it's sod's law. 20 years the Japanese run on negative interest rates. As soon as I develop a strategy to trend trade the Japanese yen, they decide to put the interest rates up. So it's 20 years worth of backtesting out the window, because now they are using interest rates to control inflation. I don't know if it's going to be a trender anymore. So I'm forward testing this, and I'm probably going to give it a couple of months more of forward testing. If with these interest rate rises we've got on the yen at the moment, and they are going to continue these interest rate rises on the yen, so you know, it's creeping up. We're up to the 0.5 mark now. You know, they are going to keep creeping these interest rates up. If the Japanese yen continues to trend, or other like that, with we'll continue. You know, I'll continue to trade that strategy, but I'm just worried when we start getting to the 1% area, you're going to start to see these interest rate differentials depreciate, the swap costs reducing, meaning that the carry trade is no longer there, meaning that it won't trend. So I'm unsure on that strategy, but anyway. So that's that one. And the zones we will cover today. So as I said, closed out a nice amount of profit on the zone trader this morning, 0.5% done, sitting in 2.5% of drawdown at the moment. So I'm going to go through all the zones. We'll have a look at everything and go from there. But thought I got a candle spike through my head then, but I didn't. On my background. Not in real life. I haven't got any candles. Aussie CAD shorts. So exited the long yesterday. This morning. In the exit zone that I had, which was here. Flip short because I can trade this one in both directions. So now short on the Aussie CAD. Need a new sell order. Obvious spot for a sell is going to be up there. So that spike, previous high, somewhere around there. Be looking for the sellers to step in. That's nicely above that area there. Target to the downside. See if we can hold this 2-week low. So we're holding this this low at the moment, which is this area here, which we broke through. So yeah, I'm going to assume until proved wrong that we're in a range. So I'm going to target the range lows. Aussie dollar Swiss have longs on. That one's in profit at the moment. Not a lot. It's in 0.17 profit, so it's not really much money at the minute to take. So I'm going to leave that on at the minute. Looking for them to come and retest the recent highs, and then I'll get out of that one up there if we do test that area. Next buy is down in these lows. So this is where we were previously buying from, this area here. Accumulated, broke down, failed price discovery to the downside. We then rebought multiple times. Then Trump ruined the market. We came back and then we rebought that same level again. So that is where I'm looking for second long entry if necessary. Aussie New Zealand out. Yeah, this is the broker slip. So yeah, basically on this one, I'm looking for a new short entry. So this is going to be a really tricky one this week because obviously we've got news coming. Lots of news coming this week on the Aussie and the New Zealand dollar. We've got interest rates and all sorts of stuff. So I kind of look at this at the minute as a failed breakout. I reckon we're probably going to come back down into this area. But obviously, if that or that has different interest rates to forecast, we're going to, this is, any technical analysis is completely irrelevant when the news comes out and it changes the fundamental bias. So at the minute, I kind of like the idea of just retesting this area here, which is where we were continuously buying up, and then basically we broke into that area. The sellers and the buyers had a massive scrap and the sellers took control. So when we get back here, I would assume that everybody that was a buyer that flipped short will re-add into their short positions. So this looks like the best place at the moment to take a short. Can then scale into a second up here if necessary, but the likelihood is we won't get there today because we've got news coming tomorrow for the Aussie, and then obviously Aussie again Tuesday, New Zealand Wednesday, Aussie again Thursday. So the chances are we'll blow through that zone. So if we do blow through that zone to the upside, I will just short it whenever, which is probably going to be more likely up here if it blows through it. If it goes without me, it goes without me. Nothing I can do about that. Aussie US second short on. So I need a new short level. I've got to go way back to find some zones on this. Not very easy, really, to find a decent level. That's the most recent high, which is this high, these lows here. So to me, that is the obvious spot. Bought that. We kept buying this area here, and then we slammed through it and resold it multiple times. We had a bit of a fight, sold it again. They tried again off of news, got an A-shaped recovery, so that was a price discovery failure, and then we resold it again from there. So this area here is where the flip zone is. And this is a long time ago, obviously, this is going back to the beginning of December, if there are any sellers left in the market there, debatable, that's where we will sell from. So I haven't got any other choice. I'm just going to go for that area. CAD Swiss buy on. So I did manage to get the buy on this one. That's good. So exit target, very simple, highs. So it's not going to be a massively profitable trade, but looking to get out the highs. Second long, if needed, we'll go down here at these lows. I'm just going to encompass that whole area. So this is where we are buying from. We went into accumulation, broke. So this is where the buyers added more size. So they started buying here, had a bit of a fight, won. This is where the buyers are sitting. So if we get back down into there, rebuy that level, look to get out in the highs. Euro odd, have shorts on. This is close to target. Not going to be a lot of money, but yeah, it's coming to target, this one. Ooh. Now, obviously, the Australian dollar, if we get a load of strength on the Aussie tomorrow, in fact, do you know what I'm going to do? Because obviously we've got so much news on the Australian dollar this week, my exposure on the Aussie is short. So the New Zealand, I'm also short. So if the Aussie weakens, the New Zealand will tend to weaken against the other crosses as well. So I've got a lot of short exposure on. So what I'm going to do today is, before the end of the day, I will look through my portfolio, and anything that is in 0.15, 0.2, whatever, in profit, I will bank. So I'll close that out. Other Aussie exposure I've got on Euro odd, I'll close that out. Pound odd, leave. New Zealand US, have to leave. So that's it. So there's basically potential for me to bank about 0.3% right now, but I'll let these play out for the day and see if they're still in profit at the end of the day. If they are, then I will close those two out, because it's going to be a tricky one if it changes tomorrow, the directional bias on the Australian dollar, because either they don't give us what they want with the interest rates, or they give us more. Unlikely they give us more, but if they could do, because we're looking at a 0.25% forecast. They could give us a half. They could go 0.35 and round it down to 4. Why they move in different increments and to everybody else, I don't know, but they do. But there is a chance for that to drop a little bit further. The press conference will tell us what the forward guidance is going to be, obviously. But if they are going to change the directional bias of the Aussie tomorrow, this could scream like that for weeks, or could scream like that for weeks. So it's one of those things. You've got two options when you've got large fundamental news coming out. Morning, Mark. Like what we've got tomorrow. You either are of the opinion that I've got a profit, I'm going to bank it and take it, and I can then spend it, or you can basically stick a break even on this and hope, there's a 50-50 chance, obviously, that this collapses and you can make a lot of money. So those are the options you have available to you, and it's whether you want to go, right, let's see if we can break down back into this area here, or come down into the propulsion gap here. Yeah. So go for some kind of bigger move to the downside. But obviously, if it screams to the upside, you're not going to be able to bank what you wanted to bank, and you're just going to get no reward. But that's fine if you've got a decent P&L and you're happy with that. And these are the things that make my decisions a lot of the time. I'm going to leave that target there as it is, because I'll make a decision later on today. If today, for any reason, this thing is down here, there's going to be too much money on the table for me to risk anyway. I'm going to want to take it. But if I've got two trades in that position, so let's say, for example, today the Euro odd and the Aussie Swiss are both sitting somewhere around about 0.4, 0.5% in profit. Yeah. Each. I may well take the decision to close one and break even the other, because if the Aussie does fly in my direction, I may as well go for a runner. And if it doesn't, I'm going to stop out with no loss, but we'll have banked one. So, this is where I cover in the bootcamp your drawdown, the way you do drawdown control, when you get in and when you get out of individual trades, when you execute drawdown, all the stuff that goes with banking money and closing out losses is completely discretionary, because it's going to be influenced by your P&L. If your P&L is looking really nice and healthy for the last month or whatever, you're going to be more brash with your decisions. You're going to be thinking, I'm walking on water, everything's going well at the moment, I've got the money that I need, so let's take some big risk. If you're struggling, you're probably going to want to bank as much as you can to try and get the P&L to where you want it to be. So two different people in exactly the same position with two different trades are going to make two completely different decisions. One person may decide to bank 50% of it on both and move both to break even. Yeah, it's entirely down to how your week, month and quarter is going and what your exposure is everywhere. So if you're massively exposed on the Aussie, you're going to be banking, because if it goes the wrong way, you do not want too much exposure against you. However, if, like me, you're hedged, I've got 0.53 short and 0.21 long, giving me an overall net short position. If it does fly to the upside, I've still got 0.21 that I'm going to bank, but my downside exposure is going to get quite uncomfortable. So, you've got to be able to make these decisions individually. So for me, I'm just going to play these by ear through the day and see where we go. But if that Aussie dollar does dramatically increase in strength tomorrow, we're going to be down there without a shadow of a doubt. So there's a nice profit, isn't there? But that's your decisions to make. So I'm going to manage this one how I'm going to manage it. At the moment, it's really nicely bearish. If we can break through this today, which is where basically we flip long. So all these sellers basically that flip long there, if we break through that level, I think we can run that today. And if we're down there, that's a hell of a lot of space to play around with tomorrow on a new spike if needed. So anyway, EuroCAD, I have a short on at the moment. Second short is going on at the base of the propulsion gap. We are selling this propulsion move there again, and we have sold it already. So target to the downside is all the way down there. Nothing's changed on that one. Euro Swiss, first long was taken last week. We did push up, we pushed down. We're just not going anywhere at the moment. So my second entry long is going to be down at this area here. And my target is range high because we are ranging at the moment. We're not going anywhere. Euro pound, have shorts on. It's on its way to target. Target is the lows. So again, until the market proves you wrong, assume you're going to carry on doing what you're doing, ranging. Second entry short, up at the Trump spike. But yeah, I mean, we're not really getting anywhere near it. Last week, we didn't manage to break that high. We had 4 attempts to get through this price point last week, which is the gap fill. So we had the gap down on Trump. This was the last traded price. Market pushed back up. It's not interested in going above that level because we're selling the euro. So yeah, I think this could quite easily break out of this this week. But this is the previous area of balance. And we're rebuying that area. So all we're doing is we're forming a new area of balance. Until there's a fundamental shift on one of those two, there's absolutely no reason to do anything different. So just staying in the range at the minute. Euro New Zealand got out of the shorts last week. It just carried on going. So yeah, should have stayed in it. But if I'd have known that, I would have. And if I had a time machine, I'd be richer. But I'm not. So I'm looking basically at the minute to try and get shorts on. I was hoping that we were going to basically bounce out of here and do that. We haven't. We've collapsed down. So basically those are irrelevant, those zones. So my next sell on this is actually really difficult to spot because there's not really an obvious level within this range that I would say is easy to get into. So the short term, which is all you can really look at in a minute on this. We got this little area here that held. Yeah, so we had this nice big parabolic move. We tried to pull back. We bought it. That looks like a new spike. We added twice on that buy. So this is definitely the buyer's area. We came back down into that area. They tried to defend it and failed, and they flipped short. So this is basically where the sellers are. It's a 50% retracement on that leg. So the obvious thing to do would be to sell where the sellers currently are, which is in this area here. Yeah. So this is where basically the sellers retook control of the market. We retested it twice. So if we get back to there and we're going to continue short, that'd be a short entry. Euro US dollar, third short on at the highs. So this area here is what I was looking at. I had no idea really. It's a bit difficult to pick up here because it's three different highs basically. But this is basically where they were selling from. So what I was looking for was this propulsion gap, which got filled last week on Friday, to be invalidated, and then somewhere up here to find some sellers. So that is basically what I'm looking at now. There's your M pattern reversal. So the reversal alert has already gone in at that high. So yeah, I'm short with a third. Average is there. So I'm going to move my target up back into this area here. So these highs here we rejected, we broke them, we added the longs. So this is where the buyers currently sit. That is where I will get out. Downside wise, I've got a new sell needed. Tricky. That's too close. These are the same level. So there's a little sort of area of support here, but it's kind of been invalidated multiple times as well in the past. So it's there, but it's not great. These recent highs are obvious. So, you know, if ever you are looking at support resistance zones on any instrument, the obvious ones are the ones that are going to work because they are where the market is obviously selling from. Yeah, trying to overcomplicate trading is where people go wrong. You got to, when you get into that zone, I want this, that, the other price action to happen. It needs to happen within this amount of time. The distance can't be this, that, the other. Too much complication. It's somewhere around here they're selling it. How do we know? Because they bought it from there twice, and then they got overpowered by the sellers. And then the sellers stepped in multiple times, and every time we got there, they resold it. The buyers cannot break that level. Therefore, we know there are sellers there. So when you hit an area where they're selling, it's going to sell again. Or it's not. It's going to break through it. But you've got to put your zone somewhere. There's a 50-50 shot when you get there as to whether or not the banks and institutions still want to maintain that price level. If they do, it will. If they don't, it won't. And if they don't, you find somewhere else that they're likely to do it at. That's all trading is. You're looking for where's price going. It's going where it's been before because that's what it's done for the last 200 years. Just move from zone to zone. So the minute this is too close for me, your next sell could be there because you got into one there, and that is absolutely fine for you to take. Take it. Yeah. But for me, that's the next area that I can get in. So shorting up there, target to the downside is obviously just don't want to get too greedy on it. If we're going to hold this range high, which would be nice, obviously you've got targets down here as well to aim for. So you could go for the super greedy one, the not quite so greedy one, or like me, just get out with some money one. That's what I like to do, make money, not get the absolute 100% of the move. That's not what it's about. It's about banking cash. And that's where the cash is available first. So that's where I will take it. Pound odd. First long taken this today. So next buy. So there's two options for a buy here. You've either got this area here. So that's where we came and hit. We slammed through it and retested that area. And then we came back through and retested it again back on the way out. So it's a weak zone, if you like. These highs here were easily broken and all the shorts flipped long. So that is a good spot. It's very, very close to that level, which means I might not get a trade on there. So easiest thing to do would just be to pull the zone down and say somewhere in this area, I'm looking to buy it. So what I'm looking for is you to put in a double top there and a higher low and then break high. Yeah. Or you can come and put in a double bottom and form a range. Yeah. Obviously, if it doesn't do that and we've gone low, high, higher, low already, I don't care. So I will be getting out the highs because we've got a very obvious support resistance zone. This previous area, we tried to rebuy it. We tried to rebuy it. We bought it. We bought it. We bought it. They slammed us. We tried again, and everybody here that was long flipped short and then added to the shorts and added to the shorts. If they're going to keep adding to the shorts, I want to get out. Short area there. John Doe, morning. I use support resistance indicator for my zones. It's got one built in. If you want to use it, it's got the weekly zones already built into the Zone Trader EA. I don't use them personally, but you can use any support resistance indicator you want. It's a discretionary thing. There's no indicator that draws it right. That's the trouble. You give me 100 indicators that draw support and resistance on the chart, and I'll disagree with all of them. I will also agree with them sometimes. It's discretionary, isn't it? Yeah, everybody. What I'm looking at here and what I'm showing and what I'm drawing on the chart is what I see. You give 10 people the same chart, you'll get 10 different zones, because it's not an exact science. It's a rough area. That's all it ever is. So, but yeah, I mean, it makes it easier. I only go through this in detail on here because I'm explaining the logic basically. But yeah, any indicator you use for support resistance is going to draw. It depends what it is. You know, if it's a flip zone support resistance indicator, it'll be drawing something in there for you. If it's a supply demand indicator, it'll be drawing this in for you. If it's a propulsion gap indicator, which is support resistance indicator, it'll be drawing in these. Well, it'll be drawing in what you see on the chart here, which is the support resistance zones, which are propulsion moves. If it's a weekly high and low indicator, it'll be drawing a line there for you. It's all the same stuff. It's where has price previously reacted at. There. It's also reacted here. It's also reacted here. It had a large sell order here, which is a reaction to something. A large sell order going into the market is a reaction often to price, to news. But it's all the same thing. This is a zone we were buying at, and then we sold at. So you could draw a line there. You know, this is, I mean, indicators are great for speeding up everything, and there's nothing wrong with them at all. You've got to have something to identify zones with. I just find indicators, the more indicators you have on your chart, the more they will disagree with each other. And I found this a long time ago when I was using different indicators, trying different indicators out when I started trading. As everybody does, you buy everything and you'll look into supply and demand, and you'll go, which is the best supply and demand indicator? And 5 people will give you a completely different indicator that all draws supply and demand. What is supply and demand? Yeah, you can't have 5 indicators drawing the same thing in a different way, because that, you know, what is it? Well, it's where price moves from. But how do you measure it? Well, some people measure it from there. Some people use that. Some people use the whole of this. Some people ignore the wicks before it. Some people need it to happen within a certain period of time. You get 5 indicators telling you the same thing. You're confused before you even start. But roughly around there, they sold it. So if it gets back up to there, I'll sell it somewhere. And that's where your price action identification comes into it. Market reversal alerts, moving average crosses, 3-bar reversals. Yeah, all the stuff that tells us that this could be where they're starting to do what we're hoping they may well do at the area we've identified, which was by an indicator. It's all the same stuff, isn't it? Yeah. So choose whichever you want. It's so much easier using indicators, obviously, because you don't have to do any analysis, but you are reliant on that indicator's author having some degree of intelligence. Some of the indicators I've put on here, which draw support and resistance zones, miss all the weekly highs. It's like, this is the biggest support resistance in the world. Why have you not drawn a line there? Well, because it didn't react at it 3 times. No, it didn't, because it's last week's high. You can't react at last week's high 3 times. It's the high point of the week. Well, it hasn't retested it. So isn't it probably a good thing to have a line there? No. It has to have tested it twice before I put a line there. All right. And I'm sure he's right sometimes, but how many times is he wrong? Flip a coin. It's just a 50-50 chance at the zone. Yeah, exactly. It's all it is. It's 50-50 shot. Trading is 50-50 shot. It's binary. Moves up, moves down, moves through time. Nothing else. Simples. Right, so what am I doing here? Long. Very close to target on this. So looking at the target on this, let me just shut the support resistance propulsion indicator off a minute. Just clean the chart up. So where we are now, this is my target on the pound CAD. It's going to be roughly 0.5%-ish. So today, there's a very high probability that that is going to be an exit. This is the propulsion move to the downside. Now, we've already tested it. So if you look at this low here, let me just draw that zone. I'm just going to draw it with lines for the minute because I don't want to draw the zone because it will potentially shut my order. So this is the area you can see where we bought from. We came back, we rebought it, we spiked through it, 3-bar reversal went in, we rebought it again. We came back down, tested that low and rebought it. We just kept buying this area here. So this area here is where we were previously buyers. Then some news came out and completely invalidated that. Everybody that was buying flipped short and drove the price back down again. When we came back and retested it, they all added into their position again and again and again. We've invalidated that. Yeah. So the sellers that were here and here are no longer here. Yeah. Because we broke through that area. So now we've got market structure, which is bullish. Yeah. The question is, how far are we going to go before we hit resistance? So the upside resistance on this is here now. Yeah. So this is where that move started. Okay. So we're very close to hitting that. And there's a high probability that this massive sell order will still have sellers in it. If not, this area here, which was the previous buying zone, which they broke through and retested and tested and tested, is going to have sellers at. So there's two areas there which have clearly got sellers in, which is here. The fact that we got no news today on the US dollar, because obviously the markets are shut, means it's probably not a bad idea to take that today and just get flat before it all kicks off with all the other currencies this week, because there's a lot of news and obviously PMIs. But this massive propulsion gap here is now also in play. So again, discretion comes into it. This is an easy exit for me to grab 0.5%. This is a 1.5 to 2% opportunity. Do you want to take it? Now, I've been in this trade for 10 days now. If I was in this new from somewhere, I'd probably be saying I'll have a crack at the long one. But I've been in it for 10 days, and it is costing me money in swaps. Yeah, so pound CAD so far on this, I've spent holding it. Not a lot, it's only 5. But this is only a small account. But my other account, I have spent a lot more money. But it's all obviously relative. But so you got the option here that this isn't going to hold now, and we're going to come and retest this propulsion move here. So this is the Canadian dollar import duty, and then the undoing of the Canadian dollar import duty. So this is where we were previously trading before Trump ruined everything, and this was the high that was formed. So I would expect this area here to be resistance if we manage to break this level. So the logical thing for me to do is what I had on the chart before I took it all off, was this propulsion move to the downside wasn't a big sell order. It was the exit from the large buy order that went in before. So all we did actually, if you look at it, was we returned to where we previously had the highs. So that is, for me, the line in the sand to the upside if we can get through that level. So encompassing this whole area here where we know the sellers are and those highs Just makes logical sense. So that's where I'm having my zone to the upside. We might get a lovely Starmer's talking today about the Ukraine situation. There's a lot of Europe talking about it. Trump's talking about it. Meetings with Putin, etc. There's a possibility we could see a large spike because something could get announced somewhere that spikes everything. And if we spike all the way up into there, I want the first bear candle to get me out. So I'm having quite a wide zone on this one, and that's the reasoning behind it. It's just looking at the levels we've been previously trading at, and we're very close to them. Now, obviously, Friday's high could hold because this propulsion move to the downside that we have already resold, which was the previous lows twice, this could be a false breakout, and now the sellers are back in control again. We're not going to break Friday's high, and I'm not going to hit target. If that's the case, then I'm waiting to come back down again. So that's the pound CAD, but there's plenty of opportunities for movement on all of this week. It's just not specifically today. So there's a good chance, I think, because it's a Canadian and a Canadian and a US holiday, the pound could take control today and really get some movement up into this area. So we'll hold it until we get there. Pound Swiss, first long taken. So I've been looking to get longs on the Swissies because they pay me to hold it long. So buying somewhere back down here. So this is the origin of the move there. That's the accumulation break. So somewhere around there, down to the lows, I will take a second long. Exit to the upside. Highs somewhere up there. I will also encompass the recent high from last week. So that's last week's high. Beautiful 3-bar reversal. Lovely. Out of resistance. So yeah, that's where we're selling from. So any kind of price action around there that's bearish, I want to get out. Pound US, third short on this. We actually spiked up into above half an ADR from that previous position, but I'm staying with my previous resistance area. So this accumulation break to the downside and retest is where I will be getting a next entry on, and it's this propulsion gap. You can see this massive propulsion gap we've got, which is the start of that sell. We are very bullish at the moment, so yeah, I'm not being too greedy with the downside target. So at the minute, my downside target is down at the previous lows, which is down in this propulsion gap. So propulsion move, rebought. That is where I'm going to get out at the moment, but it's a long way to go now. So this target really to the downside needs to be adjusted. So I'm going to move into this propulsion gap here, which encompasses this is last week's low, and it's the kind of start of that move from the V-shaped recovery from the Trump announcement, which isn't real. But this is where, after that announcement, they decided to buy from. So this whole area here is, actually, I'm going to move it up because it makes more sense to encompass these as well. So these lows here and this is the low of the week. So somewhere in there, after we break that back down there, would be a nice exit. My average price, obviously, at the moment is here, which gives me that much profit. If we do get that next zone to the upside triggered, my average is going to jump up. If that happens, then I will probably pull my target up into here because my average will be up here somewhere, which gives me that much profit. So it's just a case of adjusting, and this is what zone trading and position trading is all about, is adjusting the next expected levels based on your average price. Because all we're doing is, when we get into a trade, we're saying, I'm going to short this. If it doesn't work out, I'll move my price to a different level that's closer to price and wait for it to come back down, because it will at some point, because that's all it does. So it's either going to go here, trigger, move, or it's going to come down. One of those two things is going to happen, isn't it? So that's the plan. New Zealand CAD. Out of the longs on this one today. So I need a new long order. So looking at the recent price action, can't buy that because it's already bought. So buyers are here. Flip short. Got beaten again. That's where they'll buy from if they come back down, which is about 68 retracement on that leg. New Zealand Swiss out the longs. Not taking shorts, too expensive, so I need a new buy. I mean, it gapped down into support today, but that's a broker. Well, it's half broker, half gap. But so that is just already used, isn't it? I'm going to leave it there because that is not a bad area. Actually, no, I'm going to move it down. So again, the Trump, you've got to kind of filter Trump out of this equation at the moment. You can't filter him out because he is happening, obviously, unfortunately. But price action caused by Trump is not price action of general order flow price action. It's panic. So this is where the buyers were buying here. Then Trump gapped the market. We had the V-shaped recovery. We pushed back down and the buyers rebought this area. Again, it's the same area. So ignoring the V-shaped recovery off of the Trump announcement, this is where the market has buyers at the moment. This is where the market is currently selling. So that's where I'm going to get in long. There is an intermediate buy point sort of around there, which could get into, but I'd rather, with the New Zealand dollar news coming, we could be down here very, very, very quickly, and we could bounce out of it very quickly as well. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt that we are going to get some decent movement off the Aussie and New Zealand this week off of all this news, and then hopefully we'll get in when it's really extended. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, second short taken. Need a third. Already done it. Missed it, unfortunately, on this spike. That's where I would be looking to get in. I can't because it's too close and it's already reacted there. It's pretty much to the pip. So I'll leave it there for the minute. So basically, what I mean, it's that level there. So if we just look at where we are for the minute, somewhere around this area. If it can push up above this area, I'll get in short somewhere up there. And then we'll be in that nice sort of accumulation before it broke down. It's a long old one, so it may not be relevant. Downside target, I'm just going to move up now because we've broken to a second position, and hopefully if we can get up today we can get a third on, which will bring the average up nicely, which means I can target this high here. So this is really what I want to target, this high. But it's not an awful lot of profit at the moment, but you know, it's profit. So that is kind of somewhere in this area here where we were selling up to here, and then we sold and we sold and we broke through that. You can't quite see it. There's a wick there we retested. So this is where they flip long. US dollar CAD got 3 longs on this at the moment. I'm looking for a pushback into propulsion. So this propulsion move. So again, the Trump effect. This is where we were buying and selling. Yeah, this is the accumulation. This is the balance. And this is Canada duties or tariffs, not Canada tariffs, back into the lows and broken down. So I'm hoping that this is a false breakout, i.e. you're not going to destroy the US dollar, Mr. Trump. You are actually going to make America great again. Yeah, if you're not going to, fine. But if you are, there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't come back up into this area of balance, especially if you're still threatening Canada, who will weaken. So we'll wait and see. That's what happened last time he announced tariffs. Yeah, if those tariffs go ahead, we're up there. So there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't hit that. We've got this propulsion gap here, which is actually not really a big sell. It's just the unwinding of the buy off of the panic. So this propulsion gap here is actually one that I'm interested in, because this is part of normal price action when we returned into this zone. So that's my target. There. And US dollar Swiss, second long on. So I need a new long. Good as any. So got these lows down here, which is a previous resistance. We had this little sort of spike out the highs, which was probably news. Then we gapped down and resold that level. So this was a failed price discovery to the upside to try and break that area, see if we could trade above this level. We couldn't. Then we got back to that level. We tried to trade above it again. We couldn't, but the buyers did overpower the sellers, and this is where we bought from. So this is where the buyers are. So that's where I'll buy on the next entry long. Upside target, move down. That's too close. So I'm going to look at this area here. So somewhere around there, we've had lots of price action. This is a nice big propulsion gap. So if we put the propulsion gap indicator on, you can see that there is a nice area there to target. So we got this area here as well. That's my average, so that's not a lot of profit. We are in a bearish move at the moment, but we're coming out of a bullish move. So we've got a nice big new high formed, but this is Trump. Yeah, this was the previous sort of high area. We came and retested it. We tried to trade above it and we couldn't. Yeah, so that really is for me the high of the range, roughly somewhere around about here is the high of the range. So this is a nice, easy to achieve target within the range highs, forgetting the Trump anomaly. This is your range lows at the moment, where we are right now. So if we're going to hold this range, that is a perfect spot to be getting out. So I'm targeting the bottom of that propulsion gap there, which is this one. But, you know, we need some strength on the US dollar. And at the minute, Trump is not really helping the US in any way, shape or form, is he? So we'll see what happens. But there we go. So that's that all done. Wait and see what happens over the next 24 hours. And we'll have a look at all the zones again tomorrow in the members stream. Let's look at the indices. DAX broken long. FTSE's broken long. It's just not going anywhere today, is it? DAX has got a good chance of breaking, but I mean, we're going up into all-time highs again. Look. I can't believe it's going to break all-time highs again. So we've already broken yesterday's high. That's last week's high. We're obviously going to have a crack at last week's high. So yeah, I mean, if they break it, 3R is actually up at pretty much ADR-ish today, depending on pre-market and etc. But yeah, so there's a chance of, I mean, that seems like an awful long way with no US volatility. Morning, Harold. We'll see. Right, there we go. So that's a DAX break high. FTSE's broken out, but I'm not holding that much hope for it. I don't really want to trade this today, to be honest, because it looks like it's going to be a bit of a pain in the backside. There's no trades on that variation either, because there's no volatility, no volume today, as you would expect. Right, that's it. Anybody got any questions? Anything they want to discuss? Anything else to look at? No new alerts. So today, excuse me, I have got an absolute list as long as my arm of stuff to do. But I'm going to be working on the position trade at EA today. I want to get rid of the market reverse alerts at EA once and for all, because it's so old, it's so clunky, it's so overcomplicated for what it needs to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate 2 new signals. So the changes I'm planning for the position trader EA, I'm going to incorporate the bits that are that people use, I think, out of the market reversal alerts EA into the position trader EA. So first of all, market reversal alert. So I've got a version of the market reversal alert indicator that will be incorporated into the position trader EA, so that you can, instead of taking a moving average cross, you can take a market reversal alert. Obviously, that moving average cross will be there as an option. I'm also, I think, going to incorporate the 3-bar reversal in as well as a signal. So there'll be multiple signal options based on the RSI and ADR. I'm also going to put into the position trader EA, against my better judgment, the ability to have a stop loss. So obviously the big difference between the position trader EA and the market reversal alerts EA is the market reversal alerts EA can be used for stop loss and position trading. Position trader EA, as its name says, is purely for position trading. However, I don't see a problem with having an input for true or false. If you want to leave the stops in place, leave the stops in place. It's a position trading EA, but if you want to use it for other means, you can do. So I think I'm probably going to just put an input in there, because at the moment the way the logic works is when it does its lot calculation, it places a stop loss and then deletes the stop loss. So all I do is a true or false for, do you want to leave the stop loss in place? And then you've got that option. So that kind of really turns the position trader EA into a proper fast functioning version of the market reversal alert EA, except it doesn't have multi-time frame reversal alert logic, and that is the bit that makes it slow. So with this EA, if you've got this EA, you've had this EA, you know it's incredibly slow. The reason is because every tick it's doing a calculation on a higher time frame reversal alert and a lower time frame reversal alert, and it's plotting it all on the chart. So there's thousands of calculations going on in the background for this multi-time frame functionality. The reversal alert itself is actually really simple, but the logic behind that isn't too complex. So incorporating that into here is not going to add a massive amount of code, and it's not going to slow it down. So that I can do, but I don't want to incorporate the multi-time frame element, which is where you're looking at the 4-hour chart and saying, I've got a reversal alert here, and I'm going to, in here, look for a 15-minute reversal inside the 4-hour, etc., etc. It's all of this combination of logic between timeframes which causes all the slowness. So that's the plan. I'm going to try and get that done today or this week, so I can basically remove the market reversal alert EA, or I'll put a page up on this page saying, this is now obsolete. Use this because it's faster, it's easier, and blah, blah, blah. The only other thing it doesn't have is a trend filter. So again, I might put a trend filter on the position trader EA. Not that I agree with it. I would never use it myself, but people want to. There is a reason to have it, potentially, if you wanted to use the position trader EA to trade stock indices. But you can do that already by setting it to long or short only, which is already built in. So you don't need a trend filter, because you're saying, I'm going to just trade in line with the trend. The trend is up on stock indices. Simple. So I don't think you need that either. But I know some people do use it. So that's my plan for this week, is to try and get this gone. It will still be available on the marketplace, but I'll probably put the price up to $999 or something, just to let people know you don't buy this. And if they do buy it, great. But they won't. So so the idea is, again, I'll put a note up saying this EA has been replaced by this one. Use this one because it's better and it's faster and it does more and it's got buttons and it does this, that, and the other that the other one doesn't do. So that's the plan. Also, what was the other thing I was going to do? I want to do some work on the zone trader EA as well, just from an aesthetic point of view. I want to have some other functionality on that allows me to quickly, when I draw a zone, like plot the line. So if I'm drawing, I'm just trying to find one that's old. There we go. This is a good one. Yeah, it's already adjusted itself. But if you draw the zone there, what I kind of like is a line also to just to show you the distance. It does give you an error message down in the bottom left hand corner, or an alert to saying the zone's too close to price. move it, but it'd be nice to have a visual line. So there's a few enhancements I want to make to this as well, which I'm going to work on this week. But yeah. Is the carry trade still broken? I don't know if it's ever been broken for Guinea. It's still there. The definition of a carry trade is you get paid to trade in one direction. You get carried. It's still there. The swap long on the US dollar yen is nearly $10. So I get paid $10 at swap per contract to go long on this. If I go short on it, they want me to pay them $30. So yes, the carry trade is still there. It's not broken. Never has been broken. It's always been there. It's just not doing that at the moment. Don't know. The only person that can answer that for you is a time traveler. Is the yen going to increase its interest rates beyond 1% this year? If so, I don't think the carry trade will be there anymore. Right now, it's at 0.5%. The interest rate differential is substantial, and they will be longing it as much as possible. But, you know, you look at the price action on the US dollar yen, it's still bullish. There's your intervention. We are still bullish, but we're not as bullish as we were. So, I mean, it's a long only for me. If I'm going to trade anything yen, I'm only longing against the yen because the swaps are still only allowing it long. If you, I mean, this is the thing. The only way swaps affect you is if you are a swing trader or a position trader. If you are a stop loss trader, it's totally irrelevant. So you can do what you like with it. So if you believe that the carry trade is still there, you just keep buying it intraday, assuming that you're going to get a bull day. But, you know, this is not what it does, is it? Yeah, the bull days are there. That's a bear day. That's a bull day. That's a bear day. That's a bear day. That's a bear day. That's a bear day. Bull day, bear day, bear day, bear day, bear day. I mean, if you're long in it, you're not doing very well, are you? But bull day, bear day, bear day. It's, you know, I don't. The carry trade is a long-term swing position. So since September, yes, it's still there, but not as convincingly as it was. The only reason I'm hesitating still on the yen, and I'm, as I said earlier on in the stream, I'm on the verge of reintroducing a yen pair or two into the portfolio, because I think it's what I was concerned about was retesting this 160 level and retesting the Japanese resolve for an intervention. We got there and the market turned tail and ran, but this coincidentally happened roughly around about the time that Trump was coming in as well. This is January. This is the inauguration. So I'm still not sure whether this is the market going, yeah, we ain't going to beat this level anymore, guys. We can't now continuously sell the yen because they're not continuously buying US dollar bonds. So therefore, if they're not buying US dollar bonds, they can't sell them, which means the intervention may not be there. We don't know enough about that yet. So I'm still unsure. This formation that we have running here, which is really badly drawn, symmetrical triangle formation that we've got going at the moment, which kind of started to be formed last week, is kind of, for me, will be the confirmation of yes, we are going to continuously sell the yen, or no, the Japanese are now increasing their interest rates substantially enough that the market is not going to continuously sell the yen. I don't know yet, but the price action to me looks like, yeah, it still looks like we should be longing it. But you got things like them at the moment. The US dollar is in an absolute mess. You know, people like Powell are sitting there wondering if their jobs are still going to be there, because if you disagree with Trump, he will sack you. Yeah. And if he can't sack you because there's a law, he will basically get Congress to change the law so that he can sack you. Yeah, he has absolute power now. He's got control of not just the White House, but Congress and lawmaking in general. He's got the richest people on the planet behind him pulling strings as well. This thing is kind of a little anomaly. It was very evident last week when he said he had a meeting with the Indian Prime Minister and said, we're looking forward to doing trade deals with you, and it's going to be a fantastic relationship. It's going to be spectacular and splendid, and all the words he uses. And then he came out literally from that meeting, did a little press conference and said, if BRICS happens and it starts to threaten us, we'll put 100% tariffs on them. So on one hand, he's saying, hi, India, we really want to do trade with you. And on the other hand, he's saying, hey, India, you're part of BRICS. If you don't do what I tell you to, we're going to double the cost of everything. But what he doesn't understand, well, he does understand, he's not a stupid man, but what he doesn't seem to be realizing, or there's some undercurrent of weird planning that we don't know about yet, is if he puts 100% tariff onto India and the BRICS countries, China, yeah, what's going to happen is the cost of everything that is purchased in the US goes up by 100%, causing the US dollar to spiral into a death roll it will never recover from. So everything he says is a threat that cannot be carried out. So the question is, why is he saying it? Yeah, because India aren't stupid. They know that BRICS is bigger than the US already. And if at any point in time they wanted to just go, screw the US dollar, we're just going to use our own currency, the dollar's dead. So he's basically firing blanks. So I don't know how this relationship, they are definitely going to be BRICS, the Japanese. I don't know how the relationship between these two specifically is going to unfold. So you can't say what to do with this at the moment, in my opinion, long term. And we're in such a sort of fragile environment with the world at the moment, with everything that's going on and with what Trump's doing at the moment, shaking up the world economics. You know, any time this thing could just do that. And if this is where I press the long button, I just can't take that risk. This is the most volatile thing on the planet because they have the power to press a button that completely powers up. It's like them taking a Pac-Man pill. Yeah, all the ghosts are dead. Yeah, that pill does this. They've eaten that pill 3 times in the last 4 years, and every time it's done that. But the last time they ate it, Jesus. Yeah, you just want to get out of the way. So I'm just not sure with the yen at the minute. I can only press the long button at the moment. So if I see a setup like now, for example, not on the US dollar yen, let's pick another yen pair. Pound. There isn't another yen pair that's set up. Getting there, the CAD. So yeah, CAD basically, if the CAD gets down to here, and we were sitting in this propulsion gap, for example, that for me would be a yeah, this is a button I want to press. I want to buy that. Yeah, because you've got multiple confluences. You've got market structure obviously is broken long. You've got a new high, higher low, higher high, higher low, RSI extension, reversal alert on a lower time frame. You know, there's got to be a lot lining up for me to want to press the buy button, but I can only press the buy button because the swap costs to press the sell button are too much. So I'm kind of waiting for an opportunity to come up where I look at it and go, do you know what? I'm back in the yen. But I haven't seen anything that's convinced me at the moment that I want to buy this because it's just not strong enough. Yeah, this is not strong at the minute, is it? So, don't know. It's just, you know, it's very, very difficult, the ends. Morning, Eri. I will use the market reversal alert. I like it. Yep. So to confirm, you suggest I buy a new product. Will it still work with manual trading? To confirm, you suggest I buy a new product. What do you mean? I don't understand. Will it still work with manual trading? Are you talking about the market reversal alert EA? That's not for manual trading. This is an EA. There's nothing wrong with this. If you're happy with this, yeah, don't get me wrong. Don't go and buy a new product. You don't have to buy the position trader EA. If you're using this and you're happy with this, and this is doing what you want, just carry on. There's nothing wrong with this. What I don't want to do is support two products. And I believe that this is crap compared to the position trader EA. But that's me. There's plenty of people that have been using this for years. Yeah, this has been out for nearly 5 years. The people are using this today that were using it 5 years ago. Absolutely fine and happy with it. Not a problem. So, but the problem I have is this is very slow, very complex. There's 150 inputs in it. I use 10. Yeah, the position trader EA's got the 10 inputs I use. That's it. So this is just too complicated. The way that it's built is too complicated. It's the first EA I ever built. I wasn't as good at EA coding back then. It's shocking. It's not. It works absolutely fine. But if I was going to build this today, it would be a third of the lines of code. And you know what? I've done it. I've called it the position trader EA. Because I just don't need the stuff that this does, but it is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with the EA itself. It works, no problem. So don't switch over. If you want the market reversal alerts signal as an entry signal, this is the one you get. At the moment, you can't have the position trader if you want to use the market reversal alert indicator as a signal. However, my argument is every time you get a market reversal alert, and this is why I built the position trader EA, every time you get one of these, yeah, every time you get one of these orange boxes drawn on the chart, you also get price breaking above a moving average. Why? Because we are signaling a reversal. Moving averages come down and lag price. When the reversal happens, it crosses above a moving average. This is why I simplified the position trader EA to use an MA cross entry. Oh, look, we closed below the moving average. Oh, yes, we did. We do the same thing. A signal is something that everybody looks for to be the holy grail. A signal is irrelevant. Yeah. When price has moved down, I could use any signal. I could use a Bollinger Band entry, a moving average cross. I could use a tick up on the RSI. I could use a CCI. I could use an Arun up down. I could use a super trend indicator. I could use a whole moving average. I could use a simple and exponential moving average. I could use anything I want to. I could use a price action candlestick pattern that tells me that the buyers are in control. The signal is basically a case of the condition is met. Now let's get in. The beauty of the market reversal alerts indicator is it's a confirmation signal in the fact that it only signals when we've had closed confirmation of reversal. It is a very strong signal. The problem with it is it's delayed because to get the strong confirmation signal, you have to have 4 to 6 minimum really candlesticks gone past. On an hourly time frame, that's half a day. Pretty much in a session, isn't it? Yeah, so we're waiting half a day for the market to tell us it's turned around. We've missed it sometimes. An MA cross on the 5, for example, which is what I use. Yeah, look at where I get the signal. Exactly the same candlestick as the market reversal alert. Yeah, exactly the same candlestick. Actually, one candlestick before the reversal alert. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with it. This is a market structure indicator. It signals a reversal or a structure change. The moving average will also signal a structure change. But the problem with the moving average is you get a signal there, you get a signal there, a signal there. You got kind of a signal there, another signal, another signal. So look how many signals you're getting on a moving average cross in a day. Reversal alert, 1. Yeah. But we are not taking every moving average cross. We're waiting for price to be extended and we're using a condition indicator. So you can use the market reverse alerts indicator with no condition indicator if you want to and still have a very high probability of success. Whereas a moving average, you have to have a condition indicator before the signal happens. So there's no advantage or disadvantage in either method of entry. They're just different. And as you know, I say it all day long, every day. there is no right or wrong in trading. There is different. Yeah, you can flip a coin, press a button, and make money. Whether you flip heads or tails is down to the market to decide whether you make money. The heads or tails just gives you a button press. The market reversal alerts gives you a button press there or there. The MA gives you a button press there, and by coincidence on this 4 hour in the same place. Yeah, so market reversal alerts EA people got in here, position trader EA people got in there. There will be instances where the market reversal alerts EA people get in before the MA cross people with the position trader EA. Yeah, doesn't mean one is right or wrong or better or worse than the other. It's just a different way of getting in. Yeah, what happens after you press the buy button there is how you make money, not pressing the button. And this is why I built the position trader EA, because for me, I was more interested in testing, back testing and modeling than having something draw something pretty. But people wanted to see exactly this pattern because they believe, and rightly so sometimes, that that is the holy grail. It is. The M pattern and W pattern reversal are the strongest reversal patterns in trading. The 3-bar reversal pattern is a simplified version of the market reversal alert. Just as effective sometimes. DAX is moving, is it? Woohoo! We're off. Okay, so we've got a break on the DAX. This is basically an all-time high break. Yeah, so there's the all-time high gone again. Again, we seem to be breaking all-time highs every day at the moment. Friday's the first day for 1, 2, 3, 4 days we didn't break the all-time high. So we're having another crack today. Yeah, so target-wise upside is very hard to pick a target. ADR to the upside is my 3R today. That's what I'm going to stick with. I'm going to watch that because I'll keep that on my other monitor today because I don't want to turn this into a hedge. We've got no volatility. Do you know what? I've got £260 right now. So what, we 1.5 hour, aren't we? I won't do that. I'll do it manually. I'm just going to manually change my trailers to. I'm just going to lock in 23. Oh, wrong one. So just locking in profit. I mean, that's just not moving. So I'm just going to close. I'm going to close that out. They will both probably run together. Oh, there you go. I'll close one out and have a run on the second. Just so I just don't want to go into a hedge today because the US session's not going to move, is it? So if we do get hedged today, we are literally going to sit around for the rest of the day. It's not going to work. So locked in virtually nothing and a trailer. And I've got double trailer on there. So guaranteed profit, done for the day. Can't be bothered. There's no point because you can't trade the US session. Reversal alert EA works great, especially on pairs like Aussie CAD. Works on all pairs. It's position trading. Market moves the same on everything, didn't it? I got confused. I used the market reversal alert and I used the 5-minute reversal on the FTSE. Yeah. So if you're using the reversal alert indicator, carry on. It's not an EA. If you want to use the EA, carry on. It works absolutely fine. It's just I just don't want to support two products. That's the thing. They're very, very, very similar, and I just prefer the position trader. It's more, for me, it's better because it's a tool for analysis as well. And it's got obviously the trading buttons. And the way I built the market reversal alert EA, putting the trading buttons on that adds more code, and it's so unbelievably slow as it is. It's my fault. But it's a 5-year-old product. And like I said, I mentioned this before, people, you know, this will be the first time ever if I do get rid of it. Well, I'm not going to get rid of it. I can't because people have bought it. They need to be able to download it. But I'll stop promoting it. And, well, I don't promote it anyway, but I'll stop selling it, basically. But it'd be the first time I've removed something. But if you think about it, look at that as the iPhone version 1. Yeah, we're on iPhone, I don't know now, 16, 20. 25. I don't know. I don't have an iPhone, but we're on the iPhone something. People don't complain every time the iPhone 14 gets discontinued and the iPhone 15 comes out with a camera that's got 1 megapixel more. They buy it. Yeah. This is the equivalent to that. The position trader EA is the new iPhone. The market reversal EA is the old one. It's not as good as the new one, in my opinion, but that's because I made it. Yeah. It's taken me 5 years to go from version 1 to version 2. So, you know, it's not the end of the world, is it? If it disappears. You'll think I'm mad, but I use the 1 minute alert and then the 5 as a trigger. 1 minute alert and the 5 as a trigger. If other confluence is what I believe is part of my edge. Yeah, do what you like. Do what works. Yeah, you trade what works for you. I don't know what's going to work. Nobody knows what's going to work. Basically, all trading is about is pressing a button there and then applying risk. If you decide to use a stop loss and apply risk there, or you decide to use a stop loss and apply risk there, or you decide to use a stop and apply risk 3/4 or 1 ADR behind it, whatever you do is entirely up to you. But the signal is telling you that the market has gone the other way. Unless you have a time machine, you and no one else on this planet can tell you where this is going. So you apply risk. That's it. That's all trading is. It's a binary market that moves through time and allows you to apply risk to movement of price generated at random by banking institutional order flow. That's trading. That's the, if you wanted what is trading in a summary, that's it. How do you make money out of it? There's a billion ways. And as you know on YouTube, there's a billion people that think they know the best way. None of them are right, none of them are wrong, me included. How often is the new Dash updating recent closed trades? Instant. I have EA closed 2 trades this morning, and they do not on they not on the Dash. Well, when's your Dash's refresh rate? What's the refresh rate on the Dash? So if mine's set to 1 second. You know what? I'll let me close this out. Pound CAD. I'll check it live, right here, right now. Ta-da! Pound CAD. It's instant. I'm going to close the other half of that out using the close button. Ta-da! Pound CAD. Why is that so high? I've got the, that's not set to the right. It's because I've refreshed it, haven't I? Because I was mucking about. I was going to say, how comes I've suddenly made 6.7%? I haven't, got the wrong balance. 2.69. 0.88 banked on the day. There you go. So pound CAD done. It was very close to target anyway, the pound CAD, wasn't it? So I might as well take it out. But yeah, no, it works instantly. Wrong account. This one, pound CAD. So yeah, very close to target. That's a really good close actually. Thanks for that, Peter. You just saved me some money, I think. There you go. So there's yesterday's high rejection going in. So there's no point in giving that money back, taking it. So let me just set up a new zone on that because I am long only on it. If we're going to hold this level, so if this is going to hold Friday's high, because this is where the sellers started shorting, i.e. these guys have all gone short, if this is them adding shorts, we will probably break down, won't we? So there's no point in getting in quick on it. I will get in somewhere down here. So this is where we were buying. We tried again and succeeded. We came up, hit a double top, and we broke it. So somewhere down here, I would look if this is going to make a new high, higher low, and off we go. But as to why yours isn't showing, I don't know. Honest answer. So look, my pound CAD. So this is the dash. This is my local terminal. That's updated. My terminal on the VPS is here. That's updated. It's updated. It's all updated. Have you got any trades there, Peter, at all? $14, $12, $7, $13. So these are these are not in the right date order, are they? There's definitely some little bug in there somewhere with ordering. These dates as you go further down go out of sync a little bit. I don't know why that would be. I'll have to look into that. There goes another thing from my list today. It gets longer and longer every day. Yeah, I don't know, Peter, on that one, because literally all this does is this column. It goes here into your account history. It sorts it by newest to oldest, and it displays X number of records depending on how many you've put in there. That's literally what it does. And it just grabs the net profit, which is your profit plus swap and commission. So in this case, it is $7.97, yeah, which is 507 minus $2.90. Yeah. So and this one here is 176 minus 261, which is 98.15. So it gives you your net profit figure, what you actually made, not what this shows, because it's not. This is wrong. This is not wrong. It's just this is your gross position, not your net position. And then it grabs the lots, the number of lots. It's all it does for the instrument. So I don't know why it wouldn't. I mean, mine is. But is there? Have you got any prefixes or suffixes potentially that? I mean, it just grabs. It doesn't look at symbol. It grabs the symbol name. It doesn't even. I don't know. I can't think of a reason why it wouldn't work. Yeah. This is Robo Forex. Maybe remove it and add it back on again, and see if that. I don't know. I can't think of a reason it wouldn't work off the top of my head. Check in the journal tab and the experts tab. Just see if there's any error messages in there. No, I don't know. Go to your market on terminal and under purchase, update the EA. Oh, sorry, Peter, are you saying that this whole section is not appearing? Are you saying this is not appearing on your chart at all? Nothing. The whole lot is missing. If so, go and update your EA. This is version 1.3. You're using version 1.2. This didn't exist. I only launched this morning. If that's what you're saying. Obviously, you've got to update the EA. Maybe that's the problem. That would make sense. I should have clarified that first, shouldn't I? Right, I'll leave it there this morning. So this week is half term. if you want to know the version number, just hit F7 and go to About, and it will show you in here version 1.3 or 1.2. If it's 1.2, update. So yeah, this week is half term. So I'm going to be going off and doing stuff this week at some point with the kids. We're going to go off and do things, and so live rooms are going to be a little unsure because I'm dependent on weather. So I want to go off and do some stuff when the weather's nice. So I'm waiting to see what happens with the weather. But I think probably Wednesday I won't be doing a session this week. Potentially there might be another day this week as well. So I'll update obviously in the Discord channel and stuff and socials about what I'm doing this week, but just be prepared. It is half term, bit of disruption potentially coming up. All right, so I'll leave that all with you. Anything you need, let me know in Discord. I'll be back tomorrow morning for members, and we're going to I'm not sure what we're doing tomorrow, actually. I haven't decided yet. There's a few things I want to do. So I'll announce what we're doing tomorrow. But if you've got anything you want to do, let me know. All right. So other than that, I will see you next time. And yeah, have a good day.